What's up, my Central Units? It's the Central here. So this is my review of Spider-Man. 2 weeks ago marks the 20th anniversary of this movie. I said to myself, wow, 20 years ago, this movie was released of May of that year. I thought it was released later on in the year, in the summertime, in June, July, August. I feel like this movie was it feels like a summer blockbuster movie. I feel like it belongs in the summertime. Wow. May is, I think it's very close to summer, but wow, May, wow, the 3rd of May 2002. I think Spider-Man 3 was released of May of 2007. But don't know the month when the sequel of Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. I think all three Spider-Man movies was released in May. I'm not too sure. I know like this movie has come out in May. Maybe Spider-Man 3. Maybe Spider-Man 2 was in May as well. It's been a long time since I watched the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. It's like this movie started first of many Spider-Man movies for the next 20 years. You got Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, then you got the reboots. The Mason Spider-Man movies from 2012, 2014, and then the MCU Spider-Man movies, the recent Spider-Man movies like Homecoming, Far From Home, and the latest one, No Way From Home. And then plus the canon Spider-Man movies, Venom, and also the Spider-Verse films, I think we got 8. So yeah, you got the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, 1, 2, 3. Then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies, then the recent Spider-Man movies, so that's 5, 8, and then you've got 2 Venom movies, that's still part of Spider-Man, that's about, that's about 10, and the Spider-Verse movies, I think we've got 12, I think there's 12 Spider-Man movies, Mobius is part of the Spider-Man genre, so I'm going to recount, so, before we get to the actual review itself. So you got the 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Then you got the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies, so that's 5. Plus the MCU Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way From Home, so that's about 8. Plus you've got the Spider-Verse movies, that's 10. The Venom movies, that's 12, and then you got the Spider-Verse. So we got, 14 movies over 20 years, and 15 plus the Mobius movie. So 15 movies. That's a lot of Spider-Man movies, Yeah, you got, because Mobius and Venom are from the Spider-Man universe, I think Mobius is one of Spider-Man's villains, I think. Anyway, so let's get back to this movie. Yeah, it was released in May of 2002, directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, I think he did the Darkman movie from 1990, 12 years before this movie. It stars Liam Neeson. I heard of it, but never seen it. And then I think the recent superhero movie he's doing is the new Doctor Strange movie. Was it the Multiverse of Madness? It's already out. And I need to watch it, man. It looks good. You got Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen. I heard it's got Patrick Stewart in it. I heard it's got Haley Atwell as Captain Kara. I see some images on the internet. I really want to see that. I like that What If show. Anyway, so so I think this is technically the first ever big screen Spider-Man movie. They never done a Spider-Man movie on the silver screen, on a cinematic Spider-Man movie ever. They never did it. Like before the whole Spider-Man and X-Men movies they produced, they produced a lot of DC stuff like the Christopher Reeve's the Christopher Reeve Superman movies from 1 to 4, in the late 70s to the late 80s. That plus the 90s Batman movies. Blade is part of Marvel, there was they never produced a Marvel movie. I think the first Marvel movie was released on the silver screen. I think it was Punisher, that was directed by Dolph Lundgren, but besides that, it wasn't really a big thing. Because I think DC is older than Marvel. I'll be wrong. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, this is the first Spider-Man movie on the big screen. They never done it. Um, so let's talk about the cast. So like I said, directed by Sam Raimi. The star in this movie was Tobey Maguire. He plays Spider-Man Peter Parker. And people say Tobey Maguire is the first live-action Spider-Man, but they are wrong. You know, the first person to play the live-action Spider-Man was a guy called Nicholas Hammond. I, I think I remember got like a video of, it was a TV movie. It was all about Spider-Man fighting crooks. This is like 1 year before the whole, Incredible Hulk show that stars Lou Ferrigno. You can tell this and the Incredible Hulk show is not really focused on fighting villains, not going in that comic book direction. They're just fighting like normal guys. It's down to earth. Yeah, and then I think like I heard done my research because in the 80s and 90s they're trying to make a Spider-Man movie on the big screen. Unfortunately, trying to find a right with a production company. I heard Canon was about to do it, but Canon went out of business, so it's been a few more years. I think like there's rumors like it's the same movie company it's the same movie company that did the I think it's the second Terminator movies. They're planning to do it, but I don't know. Yeah, they're struggling to make a Spider-Man movie for years now, and then until 2002. Shit, what movie? I think it's Universal Pictures. I can't remember what movie. I don't know what movie. I don't know what movie company directed. I know like it's not Sony. I think it's is it Fox? No, it wasn't Fox. I think it's shit. I think it was I think it's Universal Pictures. It's not Universal Pictures. I'm trying to remember. We'll get to the cast shortly. I think it was it's one with the lady with the holding the lantern. I'm trying to remember it. Boy. Oh, Columbia Pictures. Sorry, it was Columbia Pictures who produced. Yeah, it was Sony. It was Columbia Pictures who directed this Spider-Man movie. And then Sony, got owned the rights. So anyway, let's go back to the casting. So yeah, you had Tobey Maguire plays Spider-Man Peter Parker. You've got Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. We'll get more about her later on in this review. You got Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. He was fucking good. He killed this in this movie. Then you got what's his name? James Franco as Harry Osborn, the the son of Norman Osborn. And then you got what's his name? Cliff Robinson as Ben Parker. And then you got like Rosemary Harris as May Parker. J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson. I think you got Ted Raimi plays Hoffman, who works with Jameson in the Daily Bugle. I think I'm missing someone. I think that's it. Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson. We'll get to more of Flash later on in this review. So yeah, I think it's talking about the main characters of this movie, and also like Stan Lee. I think when he was alive, he said in an interview that most kids idolize superheroes when they grow up, but Spider-Man is idolized for kids right now. So basically, I'm gonna repeat myself. So yeah, he said like. I'm gonna say it again. So yeah. Stanley says kids idolize superheroes when they want to grow up. Spider-Man is for them to be right now. So it's just what it is. So yeah, I grew up watching Spider-Man. The Spider-Man animated series. If you go back to the 90s, it was on Fox Kids. I like it. It was a good show. And then I grew up watching some Spider-Man shows over the years. The 90s Spider-Man, and I never knew they did another Spider-Man show from the late 90s. Then they did another a 3D Spider-Man show from the 2000, and I think it was 2003 that 3D Spider-Man animated series came out. Then you got I haven't like seen it at the time, but they did Spectacular Spider-Man. People like that. It's got Josh Keaton. I saw it. That's a good underrated Spider-Man show. And I also like Ultimate Spider-Man. That's voiced by Drake Bill. Drake Bell. I can't call him Bill, but it's Bell. Drake Bell as Peter Parker Spider-Man. But yeah, I like Josh Keaton voicing Spider-Man and Peter Parker. But anyway, people say this is one of the best super origin movies of all time. It's hard to say. It must be in the top three, in my opinion, or top four. The top four for me has to be the Superman movie from 1978, Batman Beginnings, this movie, and Captain America from 2011. Those are the top five origin movies. I think it was really good. So yeah. Like Peter gets bitten by the spider. He was dorky, and also they got Sam Raimi got the basically got the character right, and the other future directors and Sony failed to do. He's shooting webs out of his own wrist. He's like, when I watch the Amazing Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, he creates his own web shooters. So what's the point in him getting bitten by the spider? And he's able to crawl through walls, crawling walls, but doesn't have to shoot his own webs through his wrist. It's just like, really? So, anyway, so I think at the time, I think this movie kind of put Tobey Maguire's career on the map. He did a movie before that, I don't remember, but I think this movie, the Spider-Man franchise, really put him on the map. Yeah, his career went downhill ever since. Yeah, he came back on the big screens in the No Way From Home movie from last year, the end of last year. So it's a damn shame. He's a bit of an asshole outside of the silver screen. In real life. So yeah, he was dorky. He got bitten by a spider. He's discovering he's got good reaction, like in one scene, like he's eating food at school in the lunch hall, and then Mary Jane's holding her food on a tray, and then she's about to slip on some kind of food, and Peter just basically save her with with the reaction. Anyway, I think I like I think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they were released. They basically what will cast the Spider-Man and Peter Parker in their 20s. I think they're in their mid-20s. I think Andrew Garfield was in his late 20s when he got the job. I think Tobey was about 26, 27. I know Tom Holland was about 19, late teens, early 20s. Yeah, seeing in this movie, Tobey Maguire flirting with Kristen Dunst, and then a decade later, Andrew Garfield flirting with Emma Stone. I get it, guys. You're not in school. You're not teenagers. You're not in high school anymore. You're just grown people. Pretend to be teenagers. Anyway, so I think she's a good Mary Jane, Kristen Dunst. Depending on what direction of the character she wants to be. If they got the rights to the character, they got the rights to the character. But what character direction of Mary Jane can go? She's I think she's nice. She's got red hair. I think the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, she pursued a career as not model, but as an actress. Like in the video game Spider-Man, it comes out in 2018. I got the copy of the Spider-Man game on PS4. She's a photographer. I think she's way better than Zendaya. Let's be real. Zendaya in my reviews of Homecoming and Far From Home, part of the MCU movie review series last year, that she's not Mary Jane. She's not that type of love interest character. There's no chemistry between her and Peter. I think Michelle Jones Watson, I got pissed off in that No Way From Home movie I watched months ago, that calling her Watson. Really? I said fuck off. Hate that. It's Zendaya's vote, it's just basically Sony, man. But Kristen Dunst is the best Mary Jane. You know, I don't think we're getting another. I don't think we're getting another live action Spider Man for a long while. Anyway, and also you got Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson. Yes, I like Tony Ravioli playing Flash in those recent Spider-Man movies. Sorry, I'm stumbling by the way. I'm gonna say again. I like Tommy Ravioli playing Flash in those recent Spider-Man movies. But let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, he's just not Flash Thompson. You know, like think Joe Manganiello and the Flash from the Amazing Spider-Man movie from 2012. A decade later, he's played by Chris Selka. They are physical presence. In Tony Ravioli's Flash, he is this rich snob. He did pick on Peter in Homecoming, calling him Penis Parker, but he's not like meant to beat up Peter. But I think it's been a long time since I not reviewed, but watched Amazing Spider-Man from 2012 that he beats up Peter. In this scene, like there's one scene he's discovered like he's shooting webs. He basically accidentally throwing the food on the tray onto Flash, and then Flash going after him. They had the fight near the hallway, and then he's discovering his Spidey senses. He's ducking through punches. He managed to beat him up. Didn't really beat him up. He just beat him with one punch. He's very tall. John Manganiello. He's like towering Peter in this movie. They got the character right. But Flash is a jock. But like there's Tony Ravioli's on Spider-Man. He's not really a jock. He's not sensed to be a physical presence of Peter. Yeah. In the comics, and also in the Ultimate Spider-Man show. He's Agent Venom. He's got a bit of Venom's symbiote, and him and Peter became friends. But I don't see Tony Ravioli being this Agent Venom. He's not that type of a character. So it's not like Tony and Zendaya's fault. It has to be Sony not getting the character right. Anyway, let's get back to Willem Dafoe in this movie. He really knocked it out the park. Willem Dafoe is a good Green Goblin. He's so crazy. Like I feel sorry about his character. He's just basically like helping to create the was it Performance Hansa, and I think Quest friend to shut down defund his company, and then he stopped the guys threatening him, and then he got ousted by his own company. I feel sorry about the guy. He's just got ousted by his own company, and he's just he killed the guy. He killed his ballroom guys in his own company. I think he said, "I'm fired. I am." Was it? Oh no, I think he said, "I'm fired. I am." Am I? Sorry, fired. Am I? I'm trying to say sorry. But I watched this movie for the preparation of this review. But yeah, he said, "Fire. Am I?" And then he's just he's. The bomb turned them into nothing but just piles of skeletons. Anyway, so and yeah, also they covered not fully covered, but Uncle Ben's death. You give Peter some motivation, words. The famous words is with great power comes with great responsibility. I'm glad they acknowledge that. And I think I don't know what the in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. I think they kind of didn't really brought the great power comes great responsibility line. Yeah, they brought it up in the No Way From Home movie, but I can't remember it. I can't really remember it. It's forgettable. Because Uncle Ben. I don't know who's the best Uncle Ben. Is it Cliff Robinson or Martin Sheen? The best. I don't know the best. Who's the best main Parker? To me personally. I like both Rosemary Harris and to me I go with Marissa Tomei. She is a good Uncle Auntie May. She's younger in the Amazing Spider-Man. Not Amazing Spider-Man. The MCU Spider-Man movies. She's around in her 40s and 50s. I think she's in her 50s. Yeah. She looks younger. With Rosemary Harris, who sadly passed away in recent years. Rest in peace to her. and I think in the Amazing Spider-Man movie was that was the Aunt May was played by Sally Fields. They're in their 60s and 70s, so I don't know. Yeah, I think the best Ben Parker has to be Clint Robinson. So give them, he's trying to, like, I think he lost his job as an electrician, trying to provide, becoming the breadwinner to the family, and then he got killed. Like they also showcase Pierre, becoming a pro wrestler. It's good to have Macho Man Randy Savage as what's his name? The Bone Crusher was his name. It's yeah, Randy Savage in a superhero movie. He looks buff. He's never known for his physique. He never had a great. Randy Savage never had a great physique. He has a good physique, but never like a great physique. I think his physique is way better than Hogan's physique. Hogan's physique is bang average. He's always had a bang average physique. Yeah, he's completely tan, but he's never had a fantastic physique. Hogan, the best. I think the best wrestler with the best physique. I go with top three is Batista, Triple H. I have to go with the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, Brock in his prime has a good physique, but he was big, he was big and strong, typical stereotypical pro wrestler. I think this pro wrestling announcer, got his ring name, like he says, the Amazing Spider-Man, and Peter says, no, just the Human Spider. That's it. That sucks. He got really screwed out of the money. I think it was $3,000. I think it says I did not check that was my problem. He let the guy who took the money. I feel like in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, Peter appears in a shop, couldn't find money, couldn't afford to pay. I think he was buying like sweets or chocolate milk, and then I think like in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, I think Ben confronted the guy who shot him. Like the guy didn't shot Uncle Ben and kill Uncle Ben. That was I think it was Flint Marko, or maybe it's this guy. It's been a long time since I watched Spider-Man 3, but we'll get to Spider-Man 3 in the future. But yeah, seeing Pierce really upset. He didn't really left on bad. He didn't really be mean to like Uncle Ben compared to the 2012 movie. He like had a fallout arguing. I think it was after like Peter got in a fight with Flash, and then he regret that. It's just what it is. Anyway, so and also like Peter has a crush with Mary Jane when he was like 6 years old. I think he had this this scene with Mary Jane outside. I'm guessing her dad is an alcoholic. It said like, I cried or peed my pants when you played Cinderella. And also like in this movie, she didn't really. I think in two and three, she managed to make it as an actress, but like in this movie, she was working as a waitress. Like I think like Kristen, Mary Jane said to Peter, you look tall. I hunch, don't. Pierre saved Mary Jane, in this movie, like saving her from the balconies about to, I think it was a parade, Goblin attacked, destroyed the, basically Harry trying to save her, but one of the, I think he got hit overhead by, I think it was a broken down piece of the balcony. Mary Jane fall from the broken balcony. Peter save her. Yeah. There's some funny. He has some funny lines of this movie for Peter. Like what was it? Like he had this the confrontation between him and Goblin. Like and Jonah Jameson says, I knew you two are in for it. Sorry, I can't remember the line. I think he said, I know you two are in on it. Oh yeah, in on it. So I know you two are in on it. And then Spider-Man says, kiddo, let mom and dad speak for a minute. I kind of like that. And also after, Peter saving Mary Jane for the first time, they're in some kind of garden. It says, oh sorry, it's like being, it's like being the sub. It's like, we have to take the elevator. I can't remember the line, but he had some funny lines in this movie. I think like the amazing, the recent Spider-Man movies, it also got some funny moments, I heard this movie was the highest gross movie of 2002 in America. I think in world, I think the top two, I think the two best movies of 2002 is this movie and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I like both movies. I saw Chamber of Secrets at the time. And I was a big Harry Potter fan. Because I think it's funny why they released Fantastic Beasts last month. I wish they released it in November because November marks the 20th anniversary of the second Harry Potter movie. I like it's just one of my favorite Harry Potter movies. That and Deathly Hallows Part 2. Yeah, I like Part 1 as well. So yeah, ooh, then I cover they cover the argument pretty damn well. Harry, Harry has this love interest of Mary Jane. In the third movie, he kind of like was really breaking up the relationship between her and Peter. Like I think in the second and third movie, Peter, Mary Jane knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Mary Jane said to Peter that, "Who are you? Do you know who I am?" And Mary Jane says, "Do I?" Yeah, and Peter says, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And yeah, in two separate occasions, the first one saving Mary Jane from the broken balcony, then the second one stopping these rapists going after her. She was wearing like a trench coat or something like that, and then you got these guys in black trying to rape her. It's funny, this movie is a 12A. No, not rape novel. I thought it was trying to rob her, but trying to rape her. Like some these perverts, and then Spider-Man just beat the fuck out of them. And then the most iconic scene is the upside down kiss. When Mary Jane's like removing Peter's mask. Basically not taking it completely off because he fought with he basically fought the guys without the mask. I thought, oh, she's giving out his secret identity, but he didn't. Peter. Maybe they couldn't like see him because it's so dark. That was a bit of a red herring, but yeah, seeing like Mary Jane basically move the mask, halfway to see his mouth and did the kiss. That was iconic. That was cool. Yeah, Peter and Harry and MJ's relationship. They're not like shit stirring. They're kind of in together. I think and also like the fight scene was good. Like I think something about the goblin says to want him to join him, and then they fought in like a burning building. They fight in the abandoned building in the final fight scene. I think I like Willem Dafoe, man. He got that mannerisms. He's crazy. Some people compare the Green Goblin as the Joker of this movie, and it's kind of true. Not kind of true, but people compare he's the Joker of the MCU. They're both crazy, But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think in different versions of the Joker, Joker was. I think he was like in the it's Batman: The Last Life. The anime movie. Like, the Joker was a failed comedian. He's ties with a mob. Got fall into the fact they can't bleach his skin white. With the green hair. I didn't see that Joker movie from 2019. I didn't like it. I heard it was good, but one thing I don't like it because they kind of ignored the origin of the Joker. Falling into the fact, becoming skin bleach. What completely has his skin bleached white. The green hair. He's just wearing makeup, just white, not makeup, but white face paint. It's like not my cup of tea, man. Anyway, so. You could, his death was good. Something about you could be. I think he said to Peter, "You're my father. You you're like a father to him." And then Peter says, "I already have a father. His name is Ben Parker, but in reality, he's his uncle." Yeah, like in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, they cover his parents. Died in a plane crash. Yeah, he got stabbed by his own. Like he has this like. Riding on a hoverboard, and then his the spike from his hoverboard impelled him. I think his final words to Peter that do not tell Harry, and then Harry, Spider-Man took to his house, and then Peter saw, Harry saw Peter, not really seen Peter, but see the half face of Spider-Man or Peter. It says, "What you done to him?" Yeah, it led up to Harry taking up his dad's, taking up the mantle to be the next Goblin. That'll be, kind of like ending his friendship with Peter because he knows about like his dad's death. His death. Sorry, stumbling by the way. He knows about his dad's death, and then led up him becoming the next Goblin. In Spider-Man 3. So yeah, people crap on Spider-Man 3. People crap on Spider-Man 3 for basically too much storyline, too much fill-ins, but people go harsh about Spider-Man 3. I don't think Spider-Man 3 was a worse Spider-Man. I think it's more of a mid-card Spider-Man movie. I think the worst Spider-Man movie has to be Amazing Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man. They are the worst Spider-Man movies. And I think later on in the year, it's the 10-year anniversary of the Amazing Spider-Man movie, the reboot Spider-Man. I might review it on this channel in the future, but yeah, I think the top three has to be, in my opinion, is this movie, Spider-Man 2, and No Way From Home. Yeah, and also like Homecoming and Far From Home. They are fun Spider-Man movies to watch. And yeah, it's Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and No Way From Home. And yeah, like I said, Homecoming and Far From Home, they are the fun Spider-Man movies to watch. I might do a ranking the best to worst Spider-Man movies in the future, but this is in the top three in my opinion. So I think I cover most of it. I think I cover most of it. I think I miss out something. Yeah, I think I'm missing out something. I'm glad it's in New York City, man. It looks good. I heard of the original cast. It's funny that the original the guy who was supposed to be playing Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, he was supposed to be John Malkovich, but I'm guessing he declined. And also John Malkovich was supposed to be, the original Vulture, but this is before Michael Keaton portraying the role as the Vulture in the MCU Spider-Man movies. It was supposed to be 4 or 5 Spider-Man movies. From I think it was like supposed to be in the late 2000s, going to the beginnings of the 2010s. They're supposed to be doing like they did the 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. It was supposed to be 5. They're trying to do the whole Sinister Six movies. Having John Malkovich playing the role as the Vulture, Adrian Toomes, but unfortunately Sam Raimi quit and they reboot the character. I don't know how John Malkovich is going to be the role as Norman Osborn. I think he is a good actor, Willem Dafoe. I like him as he plays this hot-headed. Go watch a movie called Mr. Bean's Holiday. He plays this hot-headed director. It's funny, man. Mr. Bean's Holiday, and also I think later on in the year marks the 25th anniversary of Being the Movie. I like Being the Movie. And that is a fucking funny movie, man. It really bringing Mr. Bean to America. Because I think everyone knows who Rowan Atkinson is. Because he appeared in he voices the bird from The Lion King. He appeared in the movie. It was basically when I think it's the American Revolution. He had I think it's Charlie Sheen in it. Can't remember. I think his death was he fall off the cliff. And also he was a villain in the live action Scooby-Doo movies. I think I've seen the 2 Scooby-Doo movies. It's been a long time since I've watched these movies. That's another story for another time. But this year marks 20th anniversary of these movies. This movie, Scooby-Doo, and then later on in the year we had Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I might review that. I haven't reviewed the first movie. I like the Harry Potter movies. They're really good. Last year marks the 20th anniversary of the first movie, and the 10-year anniversary of the last one before the Fantastic Beasts movie. I've only seen the two movies. Haven't seen the latest one. It's already out. I think it's not on cinemas anymore. Maybe it's still in cinemas. I don't really know. So. It also there's the one thing to talk about is basically Norman knows Peter is Spider-Man. They're having dinner. I think they're having chicken or turkey, and Aunt May says, Peter, you're bleeding, because they had a fight in that burning building. Peter's like forearm, his wrist was cut. And before that, they hear this large bang. I'm guessing Peter's arrived, and then Peter is just trying to almost gave out his secret identity. He was on the wall, on the top of the wall, in the ceiling, hiding, and then one drop of his blood splattering on the floor. It kind of triggers Norman, and Norman basically suspecting that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And it led to Harry after his going to his dad's funeral, that Spider-Man's going to pay, and like I said, set up his Harry becoming the next Goblin. I'll get to 2 and 3 in the future, but the one thing I don't really get it. One thing it never gets me, that they never show a scene when Peter, basically Ben Parker's funeral. Never did that. It's really funny that it's funny, like when they did like Uncle Ben's death. Yeah, Spider-Man did confront basically self-proclaimed his killer. Instead of killing him, I thought he killed him, but instead he tripped on something and fell through the window. He didn't really kill him, because he like, some people, like, he's kind of half Batman, half Superman, because Batman, because of his, he's one of his family relatives. His father and mother got killed by the thug Joe Chill. In this, I don't know who killed. I don't know what his name. The name of the killer who kills Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. He didn't really kill him. He basically got tripped over some kind of pipe, and he falls out of the window. So, in Amazing Spider-Man, he caught the killer. That's another story for another time. We'll get to Amazing Spider-Man in the future. The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He's an emo. He had spiky hair. He's skateboarding in the hallway. I think this Toby's and Tom's Spider-Man, Peter Parker, they're kind of like dorky, wearing glasses. I don't think he wear. I don't. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man didn't really wear glasses in the reboot. We'll get to Amazing Spider-Man when we get there. That's next time. So I think I cover most of it. If I miss out a scene, just write down in the comment section below. But I think I cover most of it. It's really good. Like the scene, I just really like it. It aged well over the years. It's people's favorite superhero movies of all time. Alongside, for me personally, the top 5 for me has to be the 2 Avengers movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I like Guardians 2. Spider-Man, the first 2 Spider-Man movies, and Batman Begins. That were my top 5 or top 6 best superhero movies of all time. Yeah, and I like Black Panther as well. There's a lot of good superhero movies I've watched over the years, but like the top 6 I mentioned, it stands up for me. So anyway, so I'm going to wrap this review up. So I hope you enjoyed my review of Spider-Man 02. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash like button, click the like, click the bell. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.